And we are live on the camera. We still got 2 minutes to go until we are live on the show. Best of luck, Tyler. We are going to do
YouTube.
Fantastic.
We won't mess anything up.
I want to see you just own it though. See, I'm not going to be able to do this. You have to go down. I need to be able to lean back in this chair and not be like, oh, what the fuck's hitting my back. See, and it's a good thing I said that now because this is going on like YouTube or something. I don't know where this is going yet. But I can't say that in the air. Alright, we got 1:30 left. And okay. Whatever. Leave it. It's cool. Okay, 1 minute officially. All right. Ooh. Success is coming our way, baby. All right, this is gonna be 30 seconds early. Okay. Oh shoot.
You don't want to start it like as the thing starts?
Well, I have 3 things to press and only 2 hands, so I'd rather well, this one will make it 10 seconds early, so it's not as bad. Or, you know what, I could just unmute that right now. Bring this. No, I don't want to switch it like that. So this has got to go there. That's got to go there. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational, but that just wouldn't be our style. Yeah, I'd like to hear it. SportsTownChicago.com. Part of the Peon Air Network and available on the TuneIn app. Hell yeah. Broadcast home for your Windy City Bulls and the Chicago Dogs. We're in a league of our own. Now, here's your SportsTownChicago.com scoreboard update.
I'm Tyler Farragut with your Sportstown Chicago update. Bears have signed linebacker Noah Dawkins to their active roster. Dawkins was originally signed in 2019 by the Cincinnati Bengals as an undrafted free agent out of the Citadel. Dawkins then landed in Tampa Bay where he played 10 games in 2019, then joined the Jets in 2020, and now has landed with Matt Eberflus's squad in Chicago. Tom Brady is going from the football field to a movie screen. The now retired 7-time Super Bowl winning quarterback will play himself in 80 for Brady, a football themed road trip movie with production beginning this spring, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Brady will also produce the film, according to the report, and will feature actresses Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda, Rita Moreno, and Sally Field as 4 women who travel to see Brady play in Super Bowl 51, the game where he led the Patriots to a massive comeback victory against the Atlanta Falcons. Buccaneers head coach Bruce Arians said the team could look internally to potentially replace Tom Brady as their starting quarterback. People may not like the overall record, but Blaine Gabbert had 8 head coaches and 8 coordinators in his first 8 years, Bruce Arians said. He also mentioned that Gabbert has, quote, never played with a team this good. Gabbert is set to be a free agent next month and hasn't started an NFL game since 2018. The only quarterback currently on the Buccaneers roster is Kyle Trask, the team's 2021 second-round draft pick out of Florida. The Bulls are back in action tomorrow night after All-Star Weekend has concluded. The Atlanta Hawks come for a visit to the United Center where the opening tip-off is slated for 7 p.m. on NBC Sports Chicago. The New York Knicks and guard Kemba Walker have agreed for the 4-time All-Star to sit out the remainder of the regular season. Walker signed a 2-year deal with the Knicks after his buyout with the Thunder and found himself out of the rotation earlier this season after averaging 11.7 points per game through the team's first 18 games. And meanwhile on the ice, the Blackhawks will take their turn on Friday to host at the United Center when the New Jersey Devils come to town. The Hawks look to get back on track as they've dropped 3 straight. Opening face-off of this matchup takes place at 7:30 p.m. on NHL Network. This has been your Sportstown Chicago update. I'm Tyler Farragut.
You're listening to the Winner Circle.
And welcome into the winner's circle. That's right, I'm your host, Tyler Farringle. I'm joined as always by my co-host, TC Tyler Clausen. It's another cold night here at Illinois Media School here in Lombard. And man, I gotta say, it's just been brutal these last few days with the cold weather. I mean, it just hasn't stopped. Taking my dog Howie out last night. I mean, my hands have been freezing ever since I took him last night, and I just can't shake this, man. Like, I just want winter to go away. I don't know about you, but I'm done with this cold weather.
Oh, absolutely. And my dog's been doing the same thing. He's just like pacing around the whole time. And I'm just like, come on, I'm in my mom's coat right now. I'm trying to get back in the house.
It's the most annoying thing, but man, we still got March to go through. You don't know how cold that's going to be. But I'm just done with winter, man. I'm ready to move on to spring, warmer weather ahead. Well, if you guys are tuning in, thank you again so much. We have a loaded show for you guys today. We're going to be talking about all-star games, all leagues potentially, and the debacle of whether they belong or not. You don't want to miss that. March Madness, college basketball is right around the corner, guys, and we are so thrilled to finally be talking about that as February comes to a close. And always, there's some NFL offseason rumors you guys don't want to miss out on hearing. That'll be our last segment. But for right now, TC, going from the cold weather outside to the red-hot Chicago Bulls, because they are just coming off, every team basically is coming off the All-Star weekend. The Bulls play tomorrow night against the Atlanta Hawks, 7 o'clock p.m. They have won 5 games in a row leading up to the All-Star break with this meeting against Atlanta, racking off wins against some pretty impressive teams. But I got to say, this upcoming stretch for the Bulls is going to be key. They have the Memphis Grizzlies, who are currently 3rd in the Western Conference and have a better record than the Bulls. And then the last game to wrap up February against the Miami Heat, who they currently share 1st place within the Eastern Conference. So I want to know, what are you looking forward to seeing from the Bulls? Like, what is, if there's one thing you want to have them do coming out of the All-Star break, what could that be?
I want them to play just like they played against the Kings. The way that they were able to come out and have the bench come out and support, DeRozan and the starters was incredible. To have Kobe White and Ayo really taking over the court. Even Devontae Green was kind of going off in that game too towards the end. So it was just awesome to see, like, DeMar DeRozan scoring ridiculous again, but having the supporting staff with him to beat another really good team too was really crucial.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, the teams that they beat down the stretch were really important. After losing to the Suns on the 7th, they racked off 5 wins in a row against the Charlotte Hornets, who are, I believe, currently in a play-in spot in the Eastern Conference. Then you got the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have been looking on the positive side this year. I believe they are also, they're either a 6-seeder in the play-in spot in the Western Conference. Oklahoma City, good win there, Billy Donovan's former team. The San Antonio Spurs, always again, one of DeMar DeRozan's former team, so that's always kind of a memorable scene coming back to play against them. And then Sacramento. But coming up after this last little stretch in February, you got coming up in March, Atlanta again, then you got the Milwaukee Bucks, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Utah Jazz, and the NBA's best team, the Phoenix Suns. So this is where it's really going to matter for the Chicago Bulls, and I can hear you 100%. My number one thing is play like you were a contender. Nobody expected you to be coming out of the gate this year competing for, let alone the number 1 seed, let alone competing for a top 6 spot. I thought most people had them right around 7 through 10, a play-in spot, but nobody expected them to be a flat-out contender. Some were saying that it's too early for the Bulls to make this kind of run. Well, just because you're here early.
All right, 1 minute. Sorry, guys. GoPro's battery don't last long.
Check out all their daily deals on Facebook,
Right.
Instagram, and luxbarbershop.com.
Looks like we'll be a little over, but that's okay.
Hi, this is Joe Perry.
Or did you start that? No, that one's on. It doesn't matter.
Okay to rock and roll and party down.
Yeah, that was my bad. I was 2 minutes over on that. That's why we're going to be 2 minutes over.
No worries. Which segment was it?
That last one.
That was over?
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Because remember I said 45?
Which one was supposed to be, 44 or 43?
No, we went to 47. That's why it didn't work. Yeah.
Tune into the season opener against the Sioux City Explorers Friday, May 28th at Impact Field in Rosemont.
So we're going to the hour mark this time? 1 hour? We're going to the 1 hour thing on there?
Yeah. What is going on? Welcome back. We are the Winner Circle. I'm your host, TC, with my co-host, Tyler Farringle, and we are going to be talking about America's favorite reality TV show, or as us sports fans like to call it, the NFL, and all of the rumors going on surrounding it between Kansas City Chiefs Patrick Mahomes and his family, and Aaron Rodgers and his quote-unquote cryptic messages on Instagram. We're going to be diving into all that. And Tyler, since you are the host of this show, tell me which one you want to dive into first.
Oh, definitely Aaron Rodgers. I mean, the guy is going on and off in terms of just, oh, I won MVP. Let's chill out a little bit. Now I'm going to go through this. Oh, I went through this 12-day cleanse. I'm going to post on Instagram about it. Guys, everybody, I can't make a decision yet. So you know what, Aaron Rodgers, I'll give you whatever kind of attention you want. Let's start off with that guy number 12 under center for Green Bay. And guys, even though he's still under contract for next season, technically, I'm not changing my stance. I still think he's going to leave. That sign that he gave the Green Bay front office last year was the clearest potential thing that anybody could have seen. Okay, do this for me right now, otherwise I'm out. And even though they kind of did, and all the reports saying that the relationship got better and whatnot, okay, I'll believe it. But they still had a divisional round exit where they had the number 1 seed, and now with the playoffs being the way they are, they were the only team with an advantage. I'm sorry, inexcusable. And the way that he walked off the field with a little peace sign and a little nodding your head, he's gone. He's done in Green Bay.
I mean, I don't see how he could even want to come back, really, because it's the same exact thing every year for him as a quarterback. He goes out and, this time there was an exception. I'll give everybody who's about to say, hold up a second, I'll give him that. He did not play as good as you were hoping, looking at this game. But at the same time, the Green Bay Packers were in the position to win this game up until the special teams completely fell apart. And that has been a story of the decade for Aaron Rodgers, which is unfortunate. But I like how you say it's the end. Aaron Rodgers, like we've been saying, has been saying that this isn't specifically the end. And in fact, he went on the Pat McAfee show and kind of talked about it for a little bit. Here's what he had to say about his message on Instagram. So what do you think about that? Do you think that this is just a moment of gratitude that he's thankful for to wrap up the season? Because I didn't see a post like this, 8 years ago from Aaron Rodgers.
Well, he might be right about saying there's nothing cryptic about gratitude. Gratitude is a straight up kind of word. That post was straight up. You don't post 3-paragraph lengths about coming back for another year. That was a thank you letter. I'm moving on to my next chapter. Thank you to the Friday crew. Thank you for the guys I got to share the quarterback room with. This is literally what he was saying. Got to share. Not are going to continue to share. Got to share.
Yeah, this is the equivalent of, this is the professional level of we need to talk kind of thing.
Right. Well, he's bullied the front office around so much that it's pretty much just, Brian, Mark, Matt, all the guys up there. Come on, right now, discount double check. I got something to say right now. So that's pretty much the way it's going. But like I said, I can't see it, especially with this whole I'm not deciding it. He's just putting it off. He wants more attention dragged to himself. And you know what? We're giving him the attention. That's what he wants. All the other media outlets like ESPN, Fox, NBC, everybody's giving him the attention he wants. Cool. Make up your mind already.
So
just tell us you're leaving.
Exactly. Tell us you're leaving or tell us you're staying. But let's move on from someone who wants all the attention to somebody who might not want the attention on them. Patrick Mahomes and his girlfriend, fiance, Brittany. So much controversy over there just between the two of them. Most recently at an NCAA basketball game getting seen kind of in an argument, it appeared. And Mahomes responded to the situation with, people, try to look into situations too much. It's, he's trying to play it off. Do you really think it's just something that he could play off, or do you think this is an actual problem for him?
I think he's going to continue to play it off because the reality of the fact is the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be one of the best teams in the NFL for the foreseeable future. And regardless of the fact that they're going to be continuing to pay Patrick Mahomes a ridiculous amount of money, they're going to find out sooner or later it's going to come back to bite them because you can't pay that guy a certain amount of money. Fine, whatever, but they still have the pieces in place right now. They still have Travis Kelce. They still have Tyreek Hill. They still have Chris Jones on defense, whether or not the defense is, good enough or not. They have an offense that is going to continue to be able to put up points. So I don't really think he's focused on that outside noise.
But do you think that outside noise can put him in a situation where the front office doesn't want to deal with the quarterback that has such a circus on the other side of things? And I'd use a better term, but it's not in my head right now.
No, I understand what you're saying.
And especially for what you're saying there, the great team overall, what stops them from going out and just getting another good QB and moving on from Mahomes? You could say, sure, it's Mahomes, but if they really are that good, a good QB could just move in and do just as well. Could we see Tom Brady, who's never say never, move in and take that position? I'm not saying I think that would happen, but if it really came to Brittany being that big of an issue, or even his brother being that big of a distraction, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. Look, I completely understand where you're coming from, and you know what? The front office might be having these kind of conversations, very deservedly so, but I don't think they can afford to just walk away from him. Like I said, they were paying him a ridiculous. They gave him a baseball contract. Okay, this isn't baseball. This is football. There's 53 guys in this team you have to focus on paying. You can't you can't give that guy that much amount of money. And they did. So they've got their hands tied around their backs with him right now. He's a great quarterback, don't get me wrong. But that decision right there pretty much put him in that boat of saying, yes, we have to go all in on you. And they might be saying, hey, if all these fans from other cities are going to have issues about that, that's why he had that talk with them apparently. So deservedly so, in my opinion.
Okay, really quickly, I hinted at it in that last question or the last few questions I asked you, but Tom Brady, do you think it's officially over, or is he going to come back one more time?
I'm so torn about this. I keep hearing reports that he wants to go to one specific team. And
what is that team?
That team is the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh.
Him and Aaron Rodgers doesn't mean you can go and compete for a championship. So that's what I want to see from the Bulls DC is play like you are a legit contender. Show Milwaukee, show Philly, and show Brooklyn and Miami that you are here to stay despite basically not being healthy since the first week of the season.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that goes towards the depth that I was talking about. If they're able to have everyone contribute, not necessarily getting into double-digit scoring and rebounding, but, just playing their part. And that's something that we've talked about the Chicago Bulls a lot recently, is saying there's so much chemistry on the team and each person on the court is just fitting their role perfectly, whether it's being a guy who's able to score like DeRozan, or being able to get open and hit threes when DeRozan is driving, or being able to just disrupt opposing offenses and all that. So there's so much that goes on into this Bulls team, and it's, again, fun to watch again. I mean, it started off the year kind of slow, but they kind of regained that fire really quick, and it's been electric.
Absolutely electric, and you bring up everybody kind of knowing their roles, and that's why I think this team is so important, so in rhythm, like you said, is there's nobody that's really playing like they're in over their head. Like, everybody is for each other. They're for the team. No, you don't have these kind of superstars like you see. I'll bring up the Lakers, but it seems like LeBron James and Russell Westbrook kind of team up because, we're superstars. We think just because we have two of the best guys in the league means we can win a ton of games. Not the case this year. You have to have an overall team chemistry and team flow. And despite the fact that there has been so many different starting lineups, so many different rotations, like I actually will bring up the fact that they have been injured since the first week of the season. Patrick Williams, the second-year man out of Florida State, has been injured since the very first week of the season. And believe it or not, TC, he was a starter Like, Patrick Williams was supposed to be the starting power forward, and now the Bulls, instead of going to get someone at the trade deadline, giving up some picks and going to get someone like we were talking about a few weeks ago, they went out and signed Tristan Thompson, the veteran center who played a majority of his career with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think we were alluding to this the other week, but I think this is exactly what the Bulls needed, TC. We were talking about they were lacking a big man up near the basket, defending, and with Vucevic kind of all over the place shooting-wise, because he takes a lot of threes. Exactly. The Bulls need that veteran presence with Thompson. I think this is a great signing to help this roster.
Yeah, I think because, again, going back to that Kings game, it was just so good because Vucevic kind of had to fill the role of being a guy who's going to be underneath the basket rather than shooting, from behind the arc, because Coby White was doing such a fantastic job at it that Vucevic didn't need to. I mean, Coby White was almost always, guaranteed in. So, I guess that's an oxymoron, but, he was doing really well from behind the line. So, there's no need for that. And Vucevic showed that he's able to play underneath the basket, but to have him have a good supporting guy too, or to be able to support somebody like Thompson too, is crucial for him. It gives him time to be like, okay, now I can get off the court because there's somebody that can rebound now, and it's not just me,
I want to talk about Coby White for a second because you brought him up right there. I mean, there was a lot of talk about him potentially getting dealt at the trade deadline. Like, a lot of talks about what if the Bulls went after Jakob Poeltl from San Antonio. A lot of people were like, I would trade one of the guards, Coby or Ayo, and a lot of people said Coby would be the one to go, but he is, throughout the season, he has just gotten better and better, to your point. And ever since those first few weeks where he didn't play, it seems like the first few weeks he did play, kind of slow, like you mentioned, but now he's really starting to contribute. He knows he's probably not a starter with how stacked the Bulls are guard, and not to mention you have Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso coming off the bench that are still hurt. I'm really crossing my fingers that it'll be like the first week or second week of March that they come back because, again, they're not even full strength, and they're beating the three perennial contenders everyone had in the Eastern Conference this year. The defending champion Milwaukee Bucks, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Brooklyn Nets, minus the whole trade swap between Harden and Ben Simmons, who hasn't played at all this year. This team is, like I said, they're early, but that doesn't mean that they can't win a title right now, and that's what I want to see. Aggression. Keep your foot on the gas pedal and keep going.
Exactly, and I know this is a different sport, completely different league, but Cincinnati Bengals comes to mind when you say something like that. Nobody was expecting them to go all the way to the Super Bowl.
Nobody was expecting.
And, if the Bulls make it all the way to the NBA Finals, that would be tremendous in himself, but I do believe that they have the potential to win it. And I think that the Bulls really, at the end of the day, they really do draw this, deep contrast between how a lot of the NBA is going right now and what, I feel the NBA should be, where the Bulls had to build up a team. They have one guy who's really, named Zach LaVine. They go pick up another guy who's kind of got some sort of pedigree with DeMar DeRozan. But there's not much going on, right? But it's that chemistry that they're able to build through their head coach, through the leaders of the team, that look at how great they are. I mean, they've shown that they're a good basketball team. And so much can happen between now and the end of the season that they could miss the playoffs. A million things could happen. I don't think that's going to happen. But at the same time, I think a lot of people need to start putting respect on Chicago because, DeMar DeRozan proves that he could be the leader of the team. Zach LaVine proves that he's a good guard. And overall, I think Billy Donovan's a good coach.
Oh, 100%. And I like where you were going with that last direction of your quote there. Kind of people need to start putting respect in the Bulls because that's, I feel like, another contribution that they've been so good this year. The media basically, even when they were off to that hot start at the beginning of the year, they've been in the hunt all along, but still nobody really talked about the Bulls. Like I said, the center was really on Milwaukee, Philly, and Brooklyn, but the biggest thing for me that I feel like has attributed to their success is they don't care about what the outside sources think. They know that they can do this, and every day it seems like they're getting more in rhythm, they're getting more in sync. And like I said earlier, despite with how many times we've seen guys in and out of the lineup fluctuating like crazy, like Ayo starting one night, the next night it's Coby White, DeMar DeRozan misses game here and there, Zach LaVine's out through the All-Star break. So every time this team is getting thrown with something, it just seems like they're fighting through adversity. And for Billy Donovan, in just his second year as the Bulls head coach, I know he coached Oklahoma City for a few years, but the fact that he's been a college coach more than he's been an NBA coach, he's adjusted great. There is no question that Arturas Karnisovas has been an incredible influence in the front office. I mean, get that Garpax era out of here already. That was terrible. I remember I wasn't even tuning into the Bulls. The only thing that they had going for him was Jimmy Butler until they traded him to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And Jimmy Butler even said, that the team that the Bulls are tied for first place with Miami, Jimmy Butler said, it's great to see the Bulls and doing good in first place. So even outside sources are like, heck yeah, put some respect on this team.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, as much as it pained me to see Jimmy Butler leave, I was like, that's the only way he has a shot at getting a title, really. And it's unfortunate because he really was great. I mean, I remember when we kind of lost everybody back after D. Rose left in Chicago, and, you know, the Bulls
wasn't he a part of the Jimmy Butler trade? I think him and Jimmy Butler went to Minnesota. I could be wrong, though.
I'm not 100% sure. It's been too long. I kind of lost interest in the Bulls after that because once they were out of there, it was like, who do we even have? But,
exactly.
You know, I just kind of tuned out. But like you said, I was like, okay, people are saying this is going to be an interesting team. I checked them out, and from day one, I was like, whoa.
Whoa is right. They are continuing to prove people wrong. Regardless, I think it says a lot that your fellow competitors are saying this kind of stuff about you when you're in the tightest race, like Jimmy Butler still has the utmost respect for the Chicago Bulls. Nobody continues to talk about them, but you know what? Make it be the case. Let them go and do their own thing. Coming up, guys, we'll stick with the NBA and more professional sports. We'll talk about All-Star games. You don't want to miss that coming up. 49er fans in that Bay Area, California area. Trey Lance doesn't seem to be ready, and Tom Brady has always dreamed of playing for the 49ers. That would be that perfect scenario, and I think we're finding out day in, day out that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers weren't that dream scenario he walked into in 2020. San Francisco has a fantastic defense, one of the best play callers that anybody could ask for in Kyle Shanahan, and one of the best offensive lines in football. So having that around him, and he's playing for his team, his hometown, if you will, that would be the perfect dream scenario. If they get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, which I'm hearing it's not a given now that Trey Lance might not be ready, they might stick with Jimmy G. If Jimmy G goes, absolutely, I'm not ruling Tom Brady coming back again.
Well, just by Trey Lance not being able to, you know, pick up the mantle from Jimmy G might be a perfect scenario, that perfect storm that we're talking about for Tom Brady.
Oh, Trey Lance picking up from Brady is way better than him picking up from Jimmy G.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that is going to about do it for this episode of The Winner's Circle. Thank you for tuning in so much. We really appreciate you being here. If you want to hang out with me and Tyler even more on social media, make sure you go to our Instagram, _winnercircle_22, where you could comment and we can have a conversation within our posts. You could reply to any of our stories and so on and so forth. So go check out our Instagram, _winnercircle_22. And we'll see you there.
Have a good night, guys.
Okay. The main reason I wanted to do that was, did you see how that segment kind of flowed more?
Yes.
That's what I want to get at.
What's up, man?
What's up? What's up, boys?
What's up, dude?
I definitely felt like that was our best show.
Here's the other guy that produces stuff, Marquise.
I don't know about you, man, but I think that was our best show.
That was our best show, 100%.
No question. No question.
Yeah, that was awesome, dude. That was great.
You recorded it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I even recorded a thing beforehand, too. And what did I say we're going to call that?
Prior
to the program.
Prior to the program.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's going to be one of our podcasts. Yeah.
Podcasts?
I like
Yeah.
that.
Or just like...
How else would we post it?
Like a different, like a segment, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because, like, you know, we would post... I'm kind of debating how I want to do these as podcasts. I haven't posted these yet, but, like, that as a podcast. I kind of did, like, TC Talks. Like, that was something I did when we were on hiatus over here. So I would just say TC Talks, part of the Winner's Circle podcast group, you know?
Got it.
And that's like one of our taglines, the Winner Circle podcast group that I'm in. So
Good job.
did it all on Audacity too, which is not fun. I mean, if you want a fun challenge, get Audacity. It's free and it is pretty good. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's not shitty. It's updated pretty often, and honestly, I enjoy it. It's what I use to make everything. So, except for this last show, I was like, fuck it, I'll just use this stuff since I was here. You know, and it's way easier.
Yeah, I was working on some stuff for you guys. But yeah, should we make a transition into the Batman story?
Stop ya. Disconnect ya. Lower you down.
Is that your iPad?
It's not an iPad. It's a laptop.
What? Oh, I was like, what is
It's
that?
a 2-in-1.
Okay.
Although it's more like a 1.75 in one, because this part of the screen doesn't.
1.75.
You can't tap, but over here you could tap.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's because my
I like
stupid
the
friend
terminology.
literally sat on it.
I remember you told me.
Oh yeah. That's right.
It literally pissed me off.
My brother, he has huge feet, and
Oh.
our entire life he has this like thing where he cannot watch where he's stepping. Like he stepped in my bowl of cereal. Like I was on the floor eating a bowl of cereal, and he just stepped in it.
What the
Because
hell?
I think he underestimates how big his feet are, so he'll try to like step over something, but he won't go all the way because his feet are so damn big, and he would just crunch stuff.
Jesus.
Like he stepped on people, toys, a damn cereal bowl,
I've not heard that one before.
milk and cereal everywhere. And I looked at
Well,
him,
at
I'm
least,
like,
well,
dude,
well, at
you
least if his
stepped-
feet are big enough, he could avoid like Legos, because those are the goddamn worst things to step on.
terrible. And they were probably my Legos.
Yeah. It's like,
Any kid's toy with tiny pieces on the floor, that shit hurts.
yeah, it's a hell.
That was pretty good. Alright, what's the next segment?
All-Star games.
All-Star games, yes.
I
That's
think we
right.
kicked ass, man.
thought that was pretty
That
good.
was really good.
It was better than we usually do too. There was a little bit more back and forth.
Oh,
so
for
that was
sure.
good.
Yes. I felt like that was. We didn't lose really our train of thought. It was great back and forth and whatnot, and I think that was really good.
Yeah. Can you have the Josh
Donaldson.
Josh Donaldson quote? I don't know why.
I pulled up.
Okay, awesome. Yes, I was gonna say I wanted.
I'm just gonna lead off with that. There's a former guy.
Well, no. Kind of, you gotta give it a little bit more of a team, man. You gotta give them something to play with, some flavor, bro. You gotta be like, you know. So apparently, not everybody wants all-star games in every, league.
That's
every
according-
competitive sports league.
Well, and one guy who's kind of.
No, save it, push it down.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of
So just kind of lay off with that, and then just be like, not everybody wants all-star games, and we'll just generate back and
Well,
forth.
no. Well, kind of, but kind of intro the idea a little bit more. Be like, there's been a lot of controversy about like the NFL Pro Bowl, the NBA All-Star Game, etc., etc. The most about you could just say All-Star / Pro games. And, the latest example of the NBA Finals didn't look too good. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was seen leaving during the dunk contest. And, a lot of people questioned, why there even is a Pro Bowl and all that, that kind of stuff. And then go on. And it even got so bad that a professional athlete felt the need to address it. And it comes from my personal favorite sport, Major League Baseball, and from a rival up north, the Minnesota Twins outfielder Josh Donaldson, when he said blah 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 kind of thing,
I'm your boy MC. Check us out every Thursday from 4 to 5 p.m. Spitting all facts, all sports, all day.
All right, 10 seconds. Well, it's for you. It's probably more like 20 seconds.
What'd you say?
20 seconds.
All right, so we're going to sometime.
I got you.
30 something, yeah.
SportsTownChicago.com.
You're listening to SportsTownChicago.com, home of the Winner's Circle.
Welcome on back to the Winner's Circle. I'm Tyler Farringold along with Tyler Clausen, aka TC. This past weekend we had the NBA All-Star Game / events. And I believe it was 2 weeks prior, before the Super Bowl, we had the NFL Pro Bowl happen. The NHL All-Star Game happened too. I didn't really pay attention to that. But here's been the biggest debacle, guys, is these All-Star Games have had so much scrutiny, so much outside noise coming around these events, and I can completely understand why this is happening. I mean, look at the NBA, not even the All-Star Game, the dunk contest, which a lot of people mostly go and watch these events for, the NBA All-Star Game, the dunk contest. That's my favorite event. You had an all-time great player, some regarded as a top 3 or top 5 player all-time, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, walk away during the middle of the dunk contest. You had all these NFL guys tweeting about how, or fans I should say, tweeting about, what even is this? This is garbage. They're just touching each other. This isn't football. This isn't a Pro Bowl or anything like that. And it's just pathetic to see. And the NBA All-Star Game, it's the same thing every year. Nobody plays defense. Everyone just stands around. I'll give it this. All right. A lot of people don't really play defense in the normal NBA games nowadays, but these guys are just moping around like, oh, what's going on over here? And that's just not, for a gathering where you're having the best athletes all come into one and play with each other, this is not the kind of outlook you want to see. This is supposed to draw more fans in, and instead, it's drawing more fans out. More fans are not watching this, like myself, like TC, because of stuff that happened this weekend. And there's a certain guy who plays in the MLB who has plenty of time to tweet about this kind of stuff because the MLB is doing a great job at not getting a CBA done. A former, maybe former Minnesota Twins third baseman, Josh Donaldson, had this to say about All-Star games in general. Baseball is the only legitimate All-Star game in sports. You can't go easy when a guy throws 100 miles an hour. All the other sports besides hockey should stop having them. It's actually embarrassing to watch. My first reaction to that was, I couldn't agree more, TC.
Yeah, and it's not that I want to agree either. It's that I kind of have to at this point.
It's the unfortunate reality.
Yes, exactly. And, you know, I remember growing up watching the Pro Bowl, and I forget who it was, but that one poor kicker that just got lit up on a kickoff and just got completely knocked out.
I think it was Sean Taylor for the Redskins. Did he?
Yep.
Yeah, rest in peace to Sean Taylor. But that was a vicious. That's the Pro Bowl. Whoa, that was the last time, you're right, where it's been something.
Exactly. So we don't want something like that to happen again, where a guy gets seriously hurt. But what I am getting at is the game was football still. You know, it wasn't, oh, somebody touched him, so he's down. And I get, in certain circumstances, I get it. Quarterback, 300-pound defensive tackle. Okay, he got him pretty good. Let's call it dead. We don't want anyone getting hurt. And I understand that aspect to it. But it's to what degree? If someone's going in for a major dunk in the NBA, I understand if you don't want to go up and, try to block it because, you could hurt a fellow professional pro athlete.
Just look at Grayson Allen to Alex Caruso for reference.
Exactly. You don't want to be part of that kind of situation. So, I kind of agree. Maybe don't go up and try to, get on a poster, but maybe try to play a little bit of defense, try to get a steal. Don't just sit back and kind of be an observer, because that's what it kind of seems like when they're on defense. They're kind of just like, let's see what cool, ball movement, ball trick you're going to do. Are you going to do a cool alley-oop? Are you going to, drain a nice three like Steph Curry did, which still cool. I like that. I will give him that. Saw that highlight. It was nice. But at the same time, is that going to make me watch the whole time? No. I want to see stakes. And yeah, sure, there was a little bit of stakes in this one. I'll give it to them. A lot of people just scoring, no defense like we said, so it was back and forth. But at the same time, baseball's all-star game is, who wins? You never know.
And it's an equal. It's easy to keep up because unlike the NBA, they don't split up into two teams with opposing superstars. Like it's American League versus National League. Unlike the NBA this year, it's easy to keep up. I'll give the Pro Bowl that too. At least it's AFC versus NFC. But it's harder to keep up now because you're like, who's on what team? Like, why were DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine on opposite teams for the NBA? I was like, come on with that now. Like, really? You're really going to do this to us? But it's just pathetic. Like, I think you have to do something different to get the fans more engaged. Like I said, this is a game or an event where all these guys come together who are the best of the best. You want to put on the best possible show that you can for your fans and draw more attention, draw more viewership, and you are simply not doing that. I had an interesting thought in my head earlier today about the NFL Pro Bowl.
Oh yeah.
And I want your honest reaction. Get rid of the two-hand touch. I would still say tackling, maybe, How about some flag football, man? You still have to work to pull out someone's flag.
That is true.
Because look, you get guys like Tyreek Hill where you're like, oh, he's going to put a little juke move on you. You don't know what he's going to do. It's easy for guys to touch Tyreek Hill when he does that, but it's not that easy to pull his flag out and makes the guys work. What do you think about a flag football Pro Bowl game? I'm just throwing whatever out there because it will certainly be better than what was happening 3 weeks ago.
Well, all I have to say to that, Tyler, is I think it'd be a lot more interesting, like you said, and additionally, like, it would be a little bit more interesting because now you have, stiff arms mean something again. You're able to block somebody from taking your flag now, and instead of, oh, you touch my arm, I'm down,
Right.
So I think it makes it a lot more, it's a much more viable option in my opinion because it's going to add some interesting stuff, but at the same time, it's not going to be like, oh, someone got hurt really bad. Because, if you're not going to, shimmy and, all that, juke and jive the whole way down the field, I understand that, but it's still going to be a little bit harder to just, grab someone running at full speed, grab their flag, or, have him run out of bounds, than you just be like, I'm in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you're done. It's like, there was confusion too when Mac Jones ran like 70 yards. He thought he got a touchdown. They blew the flag right away. Then Mac Jones hit the gritty in the end zone. So that would have never happened.
That was worth it. That's when bad officiating kind of goes in the fans' favor.
There you go. The NFL with the one officiating win of the year. Just let it go. Just let him celebrate. It's Mac Jones hitting a dance. Just let him do it. But another part I wanted to bring up about this is I think this has been my personal viewership experience as well. I've always enjoyed the skills competitions more in the All-Star game, and I think that especially for the NFL or the NBA, the dunk contest has always been the only thing I care about. The three-point contest is cool or whatnot, but it's not as interesting as watching guys throw down dunks you don't see during games.
Well, it used to be.
Exactly. Like Obi Toppin, are you kidding me? He's the dunk contest winner. Obi Toppin was good like 2 years ago at Dayton. Like, don't get him in the All-Star dunk contest.
And that's the other thing. A lot of people I was seeing on social media, specifically on our Instagram, _winnercircle_22, were telling us on our Instagram that it was a better dunk competition in the actual All-Star game than it was at the dunk contest because guys were throwing down amazing dunks. And it's because you had the actual players we want to see dunking the ball. Everyone else in the talents competitions, no offense to them, but they weren't who us as fans wanted,
And there's different formats, like we were talking about this earlier in the week. What if there was, like, you can go the alternate route and just have guys like Giannis go up against Zach LaVine, who won the dunk contest as a rookie. You could have other guys go up in there. Ja Morant's been a fantastic dunker. Get the best of the best dunkers, just period. Or you can grab teams who have overall the best dunkers, like the Chicago Bulls are one of the teams.
Yeah.
Even you can grab, I think someone mentioned the Golden State Warriors have a few guys. How about have two teams go up against each other and say, best of the best, go all in, and have that thing kind of done. But in terms of, I think the NFL, I like watching the dodgeball part. I think that, who doesn't love a good game of dodgeball?
That is true.
And then especially when you go towards Sunday, where it's just, oh, you're down right there, that's it. That's not fun to watch. Baseball, however, you got the home run derby. I love watching that. And the All-Star game, I won't watch all 9 innings, but I'll for sure watch about half of it.
I'll watch the
pretty
beginning,
entertaining.
and I will watch the end.
Yes.
Because I love the beginning, I love the opening to it and everything, and I want to know how it ends. I love the middle part too, But, with how long baseball takes in general, with, the life that a lot of people have, it's kind of hard to sit down and just watch things in their entirety. But if I can, I'll watch the whole thing, but I make sure I watch the beginning and the end.
Absolutely, because they have guys rotate in and out too, especially with pitchers. You don't have guys going like 6-7 innings. You got guys coming in and out, little spurts like that. But that's just the biggest thing. And then for hockey, I'm sorry, hockey always has great skills competitions, and their All-Star game is pretty good. But I think everyone saw a touch with it. It's not as popular as the other three sports.
I feel like it's a lot harder for somebody like me who's never played hockey before to truly understand how great it is. And it's like, I know it's great.
Yeah.
But to me, it's not as awesome as a dunk because I understand a dunk more.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. But with that being said, I think we can both 100% agree with Josh Donaldson's comment. Either get rid of the All-Star game period or just just make it the skills competitions, because that's what really everyone wants to watch. So we want to know what you guys think. Head on over to our Instagram, thewinnercircle_22. Do you agree with Josh Donaldson's kind of interesting comments about All-Star games? Head over to our Instagram and let us know. Coming up, March Madness is right around the corner, and we'll preview that for you guys next.
I'm TC with your Sportstown Chicago update. Experts around the league have started projecting what will happen in the NFL draft taking place April 28th through the 30th. With the Bears' first pick coming in at 39 overall in the second round, the most popular position to be selected is at wide receiver. Such names mentioned as potential picks are George Pickens from Georgia, Purdue's David Bell, and Chris Olave, Justin Fields' former teammate at Ohio State. With Allen Robinson most likely leaving, this is a key position the Bears need to address this upcoming season. The Packers have restructured nose tackle Kenny Clark's contract. The move cleared $10 million in cap space for the Green Bay Packers, which seems like a clear attempt to try and keep star quarterback Aaron Rodgers on the team. It could be one of many moves for the Packers, who still find themselves $40 million over the salary cap even after restructuring Clark's contract. Rodgers said he has not still decided on his future with the Packers as of yesterday. After a week of being off due to the All-Star Weekend events, the Chicago Bulls are back in action tomorrow night. The Atlanta Hawks are first up on the schedule as the opening tip-off for tomorrow night's matchup takes place at 7 p.m. on NBC Sports Chicago. The Cleveland Cavaliers have promoted Mike Gansey from assistant general manager to lead general manager, the team announced. A former Cleveland high school basketball player, the 39-year-old Gansey has been a huge part in the team's success this season, with using draft picks on stars such as Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, and trades that landed All-Stars center Jarrett Allen and guard Caris LeVert. Blackhawks look to rebound and get back in the winning column after dropping their third straight on Sunday against the Panthers. They host the New Jersey Devils on Friday at the United Center, hoping to snap their losing streak. Opening face-off is slated for 7:30 p.m. on the NHL Network. This has been your Sportstown Chicago update, and I'm TC. Oh, God, how did I mess that up so bad, bro?
What did you mess up?
The Packers one and the Bears one.
I don't think you messed that up.
I messed the Bears one up a little bit. I messed the Packers up terrible.
I don't really.
I mean, I hate you Packers fans, but I love you Packers fans. But yeah, I'm sorry. It was good. I just fucked it up. No worries.
Hello? It's Speed Walking Day. Dorothy?
Ooh, Speed Walking Day.
Did I mention we'd be slowing down
Okay.
when we pass the court for those
So a minute and
I heard
25
Reduce
seconds.
your risk of cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and stroke.
33,
Right? And maybe
55.
even run into
33:55. So this is 33:55. This is 11 minutes, right?
Yes. 13, 12, 11 times.
33:55. 33. So this is going to be done at 44:55.
Okay.
Alert.
44. So just 45 minutes, let's say.
Overdue loans, suffocating interest rates, our relentless collection agencies.
Dude, this is actually like, we have nailed this one. I will
agree.
say.
I agree.
Maybe not.
Do you have March
perfectly.
Madness stuff or no?
No. Can I stop this?
Yeah, if you want to stop, that's fine.
I just need to pull some stuff up. I forgot to lap it anyway.
So you're just gonna follow whatever my discussion is?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm gonna look at teams on ESPN and
Alright.
shit.
So you said 45, something like that? We're gonna
What?
stop? 45?
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
let you know.
Here's some things you wouldn't expect. Get all of that and more on Blow the Whistle on SportsTownChicago.com.
You're listening to The Winner Circle on SportsTownChicago.com.
Welcome back in, guys, to the Winner Circle. Tyler Farringle along with Tyler Clausen, aka TC. It's the last week of February, and you know what that means, guys. March Madness is right around the corner. That's right, the NCAA men's basketball tournament is almost here. It's one of the most famous sporting events that happens every year. March comes around, the weather gets a little warmer, Shamrock Shakes are out, and the NCAA tournament is rolling. And this past week, it's actually pretty fitting that we're starting to talk about college basketball now, because the NCAA selection committee released their initial top 16 teams, which are different from the Associated Press rankings, by the way. This selection committee top 16 right now has the overall 16 best teams for this year's bracket, and it's kind of no surprise, TC, number one overall seed is the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Second year in a row, they're on track to be the number one overall seed. They've been a powerhouse in the last few seasons, especially the regular season. They just can't seem to get it done against these top-tier teams in the NCAA tournament, primarily because they play in a very weak conference, and so when you go up against the Blue Bloods like Kansas, Kentucky, Baylor last year, they have the talent, but just those guys have the experience of playing the better teams. Auburn, the Auburn Tigers, who made the Final Four a few years ago, have also been elected as a one seed. As of right now, they unfortunately dropped one against the Florida Gators this weekend, which will be a tough one to swallow, but they're still in the number one seed line for now. How about the Arizona Wildcats, and what a turnaround that's been? Sean Miller gets fired because of the whole FBI investigation thing with DeAndre Ayton, and now a new coach is in. Arizona is ruling the Pac-12, I believe 24-2, something like that. They've been really, really good this year. Kudos to them. And then the Kansas Jayhawks, again, they're always up there. They're one of the considered blue bloods among college basketball. Those are the four teams that are topping the selection committee top 16. You got other teams surrounded in there as well, the Villanova Wildcats, the Purdue Boilermakers, the Duke Blue Devils, the Illinois Fighting Illini as well. So it's going to be an interesting March Madness, and you really never know what's going to happen. Like, just when you think maybe it could be all one seeds that make the Final Four, TC, you get a surprise team like UCLA last year make it as an 11 seed, and not just any 11 seed. They had to play in to get in the main draw. They ran the table and went all the way to the Final Four. They almost took out Gonzaga on the way. So again, you never know what you're going to get come March when the big tournament rolls around.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the funniest things is, there's so many March Madness brackets made every year. And
how many do you do March Madness brackets?
I do not, because I know that regardless of what I pick, it is going to be wrong. I might get the first round, which is highly unlikely, but second round's going to be messed up automatically. There's always an upset second round. First rounds, there's sometimes upsets, but not as often. Usually that second round that is just like, what is going on right now?
You have that occasional 12/5 upset, and that's where I just want to tell you, you don't feel ashamed at all, because there's never been a perfect bracket, and I don't think there ever will. Like, you'll get guys that'll do like 3% of perfect brackets remain after 24 to 32 first round games. That's like, oh, okay, but nobody has a perfect bracket past the first round. Like, I remember one year I got an entire region correct. I don't know how I did that, but I managed to get in 2017, I managed to get the Oregon Ducks, who were the 3 seed, go all the way and beat the Kansas Jayhawks, who were the 1 seed. Every single matchup I got right. I don't know how that happened, but I had Oregon win the tournament. They didn't, unfortunately, make it past the Final Four. But it just goes to show you that, again, you don't know what can happen. Like, the Villanova Wildcats I want to bring up as a team to watch out for, even though they just suffered a loss yesterday against the UConn Huskies, who have been trending upwards lately. Villanova won titles in 2016 and 2018. Despite their 7 losses, I think you still have to watch out for them. They still have Colin Gillespie. They're still a very well-coached team. Jay Wright knows how to get his guys ready for March Madness. And I think after what happened last year with Gillespie going down in their matchup against, I believe it was Baylor in like the 2nd or 3rd round, they're going to be primed for another big run because that team, even though they play in the Big East, which is not considered a Power 5 conference, like I said again, 2 titles in 3 years spanning from 2016 to 2018. They are incredibly well coached, but again, anything can happen. Also a big storyline, can Mike Krzyzewski lead Duke to perhaps another title in his final year coaching there? It's been legit TC 40 years he's coached at Duke. One of the longest tenured coaches in college basketball. So again, anything can happen. The Baylor Bears, last year's champs, they had 2 losses all of last year. They already have 5. So you really have no idea who to expect as the clear out favorite this year.
Yeah, exactly. And being a college event, I feel like it's a lot more flexible because you don't know how great these fantastic athletes are under the pressure. And as the games go on, as it gets more, as the stakes get higher, you really see that pressure really start to either make or break, future NBA players or, future guys that, talk about how great they were in college, which is great. I'm not trying to discredit them in any way, but you know what I'm getting at. It really does show you who's going to be an NBA player and who's a really good college basketball player.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I actually want to bring up a point to you, what you were just saying right there. I mean, everybody was talking about that 2018, 2019 Duke team where they had Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett. Everyone was like, this might be the best Duke team we've ever seen. I mean, I picked them to win it all because I didn't really know who else to pick. I was like, whatever, I'll just pick Duke as a default. And everyone was so surprised when Michigan State, as the 2 seed in their region, Duke was the number 1 overall seed, when Michigan State knocked them out in the Elite 8, they didn't even make the Final 4 that year. And everyone was like, what? Like, they have 2 future guys who went on to the NBA that year, like Zion Williamson as a freshman, RJ Barrett as a freshman, and I believe there was one other guy too, I think it was Cam Reddish. Bottom line is, they had a great team, and to TC's point, these guys, everybody knew they were going to the NBA, so everyone's like, oh, just because they have guys who are pretty much pro-ready, they're going to it all. That's not the case. Look at how Zion Williamson has turned out in New Orleans. There's been rumblings all around that he might not be a New Orleans Pelican. RJ Barrett's on the Knicks. I mean, come on, he got screwed. The Knicks are a joke of a franchise. So you really have no idea. And just what we talked about with the Chicago Bulls. It's all about getting your team in rhythm, all about getting your team in check. And I will say this too. If the glass slipper fits, you got to wear it. Look at UCLA last year as an 11 seed. Sometimes that can carry you all the way to the Final Four. You just never know what's going to happen. And I feel like especially for college as well, I'm just going to say it. Their fans are more passionate than professional teams. I don't know what it is about college, but these people they care more about their deeper roots than with professional teams. So the fans will have a huge influence now with fans being back in the stands this year for March Madness.
Yeah, and to answer that question though, why does it seem like college fans are so much more hype? I mean, you don't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to Bears games or anything like that. You spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to your alma mater, and it's like, what do I get out of this? A really good basketball team? Okay, well then you better be great. They want to have that energy. They want to, feel that pride. So I completely understand that, especially to be like, oh yeah, I went here, or for the people that played there, or the people that helped literally build, that place. That's a lot more than just, yeah, I go to, the Bulls games, because it's a different environment,
Oh, 100%. And another thing is, you have to take these moments as how they come, because looking at, just for recent example, I know how Joe Burrow said Cincinnati the standard is to be in Super Bowls. Now, you don't know if you're going to get that every year. And with these guys, probably most of them being one and dones freshman year, and you can go to the NBA right away, you don't know how many of these opportunities you're going to get. So you have to take advantage of them as best as you can. You can't look up any game and say, might as well just, play easy because, we're going to win. We never thought we'd see a number 16 seed defeat a number 1 seed, but I think it was, I forgot their name. Some small school beat Virginia, who, of course, that year, 2018, I had Virginia winning it all. And the number 16 seed, I can't remember their names. UMBC, University of Maryland in Baltimore County, ended up freaking winning that game. And I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So again, it goes to show you never know what happens. Also, fun fact, 2018, Virginia loses to a 16 seed in the first round. 2019, Virginia wins the tournament. Like, you don't know what can happen year in and year out. So again,
Obviously
it's
you
so
don't.
well, I don't, but it's so unpredictable. Like, I mean, last year you have the Illinois Fighting Illini, who are my pick to win it all, go out in the second round of Loyola Chicago, and they had Ayo Dosunmu. Kofi Cockburn is back, but Ayo Dosunmu is obviously in the NBA. They don't have the same star firepower, but who knows? Maybe a loss like that in the second round can kind of get them, I guess, ready or more prepared to not have that kind of loss like that happen again. So again, anything can happen. You never know what to expect this time of year.
And especially with, coaches getting hands-on, like literally,
Oh,
you never know.
You had to bring that up. Well,
You never know.
yeah, I mean, maybe Juwan Howard was kind of mad that, this loss might have eliminated them from tournament hopes. I mean, 14-11 after getting a 1 seed last year, that's not good considering, where they were at. But, man, again, this is the passion. This is the grit that we want to see. You were talking about Wisconsin the other day. You remember the last time you were really, really into March Madness, they were a really good team. Back-to-back Final Four appearances with Frank Kaminsky. That's the team that Michigan lost to. That's that tension. That's that passion that these guys go through game in, game out. And obviously, like you were talking about with Juwan Howard and Michigan, let me just first say I believe suspending him for the rest of the regular season is for the best. You simply cannot put your hands on another coach or player.
Absolutely.
That's just uncalled for. So his suspension is fitting. But again, Michigan brought back pretty much all their guys that they had last year, that they were a really, really good team. Eli Brooks came back. Hunter Dickinson, the big freshman, also came back. He didn't enter the NBA draft. And I was like, okay, Michigan entered number 5 in the initial poll to start the season. I was like, deservedly so. They have a great team. But this year, you got teams like Wisconsin, Illinois, Ohio State, Michigan State. Purdue out of nowhere is the best team in the Big Ten. Other teams have finally started to figure it out. And, you're back to the drawing board with the Wolverines, especially because Juwan Howard, a former Michigan player, he's got to be scratching his head like, what do I got to do to get my team back in the spot we were a year ago?
Yeah, for real. And that's the thing is you guys, your team might be like, okay, we lost and we gotta build back better. Not to try to use that phrase, but we gotta build something greater than what we were last year. We gotta get down in further, and we just gotta come out on top this time. Or it's gonna be in that situation where your team can we even live up to what we were? Were we supposed to be there? And that doubt starts to creep in, and it consumes that team. And it seems like that's what happened in Michigan this season, unfortunately. And hopefully that doesn't really hurt any of those players in terms of, potential futures in the NBA and all that. But, at the same time, not being able to overcome adversity is one of the things that will keep you from being, accepted at the next level.
Yeah, and I want to go back to a point you just made before about living up to not like your name is, but living up to what you were. And I want to go back to a team that I mentioned before, the Gonzaga Bulldogs, because I think a perfect example is what I mentioned before, living up to their name. Gonzaga, great regular season team, great talent no matter what, and then they get into the deep stage of the tournament and they lose. Duke beats them year in, year out. North Carolina beats them year in, year out. Baylor handled them in the national championship even though Gonzaga was undefeated. Like, just because they're a smaller school that plays in a smaller conference, they still have that fear of beating these big-time schools. And I just want to know, with them being the number 1 seed overall potentially again this year, are they going to have the same thing happen? Because Drew Timme is still there. Andrew Nembhard is still there. Chet Holmgren, the number 1 commit in this class, is now here. They have a great team, but it's just about putting together a really good end of the tournament to finally hoist that national championship trophy. But we'll see what happens coming up with that. Coming up on our last segment, guys, the NFL offseason is here. We got all the news, rumors, and buzz you want to be around for.
Could I actually take it from the rejoin on this next one?
Sure.
just because I have something I want to put in it. You know?
For sure.
All right, cool. Thanks, man. I gotta get a sip of water real quick
yeah.
because I've been almost coughing like consistently.
Yeah, you bet.
Well, I guess this isn't water. But...